And it's already such an
He
impersonal
has
medium.
quite the control over Natalia. I see her as a very self-empowered person, and
Yeah.
I'm shocked by the control he has over
We'll
her.
talk about Natalia later on in the episode. I am here with her because she's slotting into one of my least favorite archetypes, the oh my gosh, you'll never believe this new detail about my toxic relationship.
Right, yeah.
Oh my God, you'll never believe how little I give a f about this new detail about your toxic relationship. Hi, hello, and welcome to another brand spanking new episode of another Below Deck podcast. My name is Dylan. I'm saddled up next to one Patrick Hickey.
Permission to come aboard.
Hey, handsome.
Hey, great to see you, cutie.
Thank you. You know, I'm a little run down right now, but I thought you weren't going to say anything cute back to me, you know?
Well, I did.
You want to talk? You want to get into it?
Oh, yeah, you do want me to talk?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody who left us amazing reviews.
Oh, thank you so much.
And
for
also,
reminding me.
really big thank you to all the barnacles that went over there to that Reddit thread.
Oh, I don't even want to pay it any mind.
We really shouldn't.
Oh my gosh. But yes, the overriding message here is that as the show grows, we get more support from you, and doesn't it just warm our butts? Doesn't it just warm our little hearts and our butts right up? We can't thank you guys enough for the support, and to show you how much it means to our little butts, I want to read a couple of reviews that we've gotten lately. Like this from Lux Los Angeles. OMG, it was Luka, 5 stars. Luka and Laura, hello. I'm not even sure what that means.
Well, you know what it means. I asked the audience last week. I said,
Yeah, I was doing a bit.
Oh,
This one from Rob Lanier, 102 pots. That, if you're keeping track, is even more pots than is possible. So that's pretty... that warms us up. Tomb Raider made out with Luke. I'm not even sure what that is about, but we can't thank you enough for that. Honesty, humor, and MA ellipses. I enjoy listening on my drives to and from work, making me actually laugh out loud alone in my car. The banter is entertaining, and the guys give great insight into the show. I mean, listen, who wants to sit here and read positive reviews all day? You know, come one, come all. Leave us a 1 star so we can mix it up next week.
No.
Yeah, come on, do it.
No.
All right, so other public service
Yes,
announcements.
Winter House. We're covering
Winter
Winter
House.
House, which has 6 sea rats on it. Our coverage for that generally drops on Wednesday, so 2 days after you're hearing this, just check out the feed. A recap of episode 2 of season 3 of Winter House will be there for you, and we're doing it with one of my favorite people on the planet, Ruby Red.
Yeah, Papaya Dog Girl is joining us for the whole season. Also, patreon.com/another podcast network for another podcast show and PMZ. Matthew Perry is dead. Rest in peace. Very sad. Pat's called it for some time. And it's crazy because if you're on Patreon, you will have heard Pat say, I swear to God, couple weeks, this guy's going to be in a jacuzzi and someone's going to find, and it's like the Nostradamus of horror, this guy. I mean,
I didn't want it to happen.
I know. You don't want this burden. But when you see into things, you see into things. That's it. Another public service announcement. We were supposed to do a live meetup for our 12-tier members today. Unfortunately, we booked a C-Rat interview. You know how rare those are. We will be dropping that later this week. We sat down with the Filthy Scouser himself, Chef Jack. Had a great time, talked about food, talked about Chip Buddies, we talked about Lord of the Rings, we talked about Natalia and Toomey. It was an amazing interview. So we will update the $12 tier members. We know we owe you a live meetup. We will do it next week. We love you so much. Sorry we haven't done one in a while, but it's going to be great, this next one. Okay, we have to get into the show.
Yes. You want to go first?
Yeah.
Don't be too Debbie Downer.
You know how much I love this show.
I know how much you love it.
But when we get an episode like this, you know, my little butt just sinks a little bit. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
It's just hard.
Dylan, you know what? This was what I call a character development episode.
Yeah.
Okay? Not a lot happens, but it's the little things that you pick up that kind of helps you kind of understand the various cast members of the television show.
I don't agree. Now, listen, this is the problem. Orby's a lovely guy, and I'm glad that he's not hitting the bottle as hard as he used to. He's reined it in a little bit, as you mentioned a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, kids will do that to you.
Or they won't.
That's true.
But let's just go ahead and ban children from this show in perpetuity. I mean, the only kind of children I want are future arsonists, okay? People that are going, you can see the evil in their eye, and they're going to provide entertainment. But we really have no use or utility for just nice families coming on this show anymore. I mean, it's just stinky.
Let me add to this. I know this is your thoughts and us.
Yeah.
Not only do we have just the little crumb crunchers, or what do they call them, crotch targets, or I forget what Haley said, something very disparaging.
Yeah. We'll get to
that. We also then utilize the time of a precious sea rat for the entire charter. Okay, Natalia was running around with her head cut off. She's supposed to be pulling Luka into that laundry room and making out with him. Instead, you know, she's making pizzas with 4-year-olds.
Yeah, and we talked about the state of those pizzas with Jack. They were disgusting, but we'll talk about them later. The other thing that was really bizarre about this show, I mean, the pizzas look like shit, but the other thing that was really bizarre about the show was some of the most, and all C-Rat histories, they're very binary. They either are sleep-inducingly boring or are some of the most horrific things you've ever heard a human being go through.
Can I say something?
Tonight, we had the former. Okay. And lots of them.
Okay, Dylan, I've created a new scale.
Yeah.
It's called the C-Rat SAD scale, SRSS rating system. That's how we're going to be able to rate the C-Rat history.
The C-Rat what?
The C-Rat SAD scale. Like, how sad is it?
Okay, let's just call it the CRS scale. Yeah, because you tack SS on it, you know, it's not a good time for those two letters to follow one another. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So the C-Rat, the SRS scale.
The SAD scale.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there was a lot of mediocre C-Rat stories.
My mom's the reason I have a go attitude. What are we doing? Also, completely forgot that Anne was on this show. It's just insane that Anne is on this show.
She's not on the show.
2 pots.
2 pots. That's your lowest rating of the season, I think.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. Well, Dylan, like in most episodes of television, they always save the last 5 minutes for all the good stuff. You know, I hated the show Walking Dead, but they'd always fool me because a beloved character in the last 5 minutes would be a cliffhanger. Did a zombie bite him and eat him?
No.
And then I'd show up the next week, and it would be people talking while walking through the woods, which I later dubbed that show to be called.
Yeah.
And then at the tail end, my beloved cast members would be in jeopardy, and then I'd have to tune in next week. But you know what? After season 6, I said, "Go fuck yourself."
Oh, okay. That is quite a funny. So you said this show's not called The Walking Dead; it's The Walking Through Woods.
While talking.
Oh wow.
Okay. So anyway,
you hear that, Frank Darabont? You fucking hack.
They fired him after the first season. That's why the show sucked.
Do you hear
anyway,
that, Frank?
Okay. So I loved finally Luka and Natalia. It was too hot. They couldn't. They had to hook up. And just as they're about to hook up, forgive me to give the spoilers away if you haven't watched the episode. We get a phone call from AJ, and Natalia says, "I'm going to pick it up."
Yeah.
What?
I know I call for euthanasia too often. I hate this guy so much. I mean, I just really do not think that he's a good person. And I think he's one of these people that is immune from any kind of repercussion really at all. But I do think that he should be jailed.
They'll catch up with him eventually. If you don't think he didn't make his way over to that Epstein Isle at some point in the last 10 years, you're out of your mind.
I don't want him thrown in one of these Bernie Madoff joints. I want him in Abu Ghraib or something. You know, I want true horror done to this man. He's a horrible person and a scumbag fucking... I'm getting hot. This is supposed to be a fun show. Okay. Pat, how many pots do you give it?
All right, so a couple other fun stuff here. We got to see Haley's hates. Everyone should have a list of things they dislike. I thought
What's
that was really,
what's something that you dislike?
something I dislike. I don't like lines. I get anxiety.
That's a good example.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said anteater. We'll get to that. Who hates anteaters?
Who hates anteaters?
Anyway.
Anteater, they're nothing but fun.
They're nothing but fun.
They're nothing but fun.
Anteaters, Dylan. I don't even think they kill the ants they eat. The ants just get fucking vacuumed up in that little nose of theirs, shit out the next day, and they're like, hey, Larry, did you get eaten today too? Yeah, he sucked me up while I was taking a walk yesterday.
Right.
Yeah, where the fuck are we?
Yeah.
But that's how nice anteaters are.
Yeah.
They eat you because they got to live, but they don't hurt you. You come right out the back end.
Yeah, and that's a biological fact. Anteaters don't feast on any of the, physical forms of the ant. Their spirits are sucked out of them as they come through the anteater. And that's why they can have a conversation the next day about Larry and how crazy that was. And there is something missing, but it's too far off, too amorphous for them to recognize that their spirit has been drained from their bodies by this little god eater.
50 knots.
So we last left off with Lara, a.k.a. Tomb Raider, and Max, a.k.a. Silent Film Actor,
Communication gate.
fighting with each other. Is this resolved by Sandy telling Luka how to use the walkie-talkie? Is that
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, her observation is correct. Max should not be making calls as far as where the anchor is because he doesn't speak English well, and that could it's not his fault, but it could get everyone killed.
Sure. Yeah. It's like a person with no hands being a pilot.
It's exactly like that.
It's not their fault, but it's probably not. They're probably not the best candidate. We get a little sea rat history with Luka. He zipped around on bicycles, motorcycles, and the lot before he was even born, and his mother's craving was petrol, which sounds like a skinny pregnancy and an insane one.
Well, okay, so the sea rat story here is Luca's mom when she was pregnant for him. By the way, she's a looker. Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
Would you take it easy, man?
Okay. While she's pregnant, rather than, do what a lot of us do, you sip a little red wine or take a Xanny or something like that. Probably ill-advised from your doctor. But anyway, they did it in the 70s.
Yeah.
Instead, she got on that fucking motorcycle and did some, so what do you call that? What do you call it? The driving where they're like doing like in the dirt and stuff like motocross.
Yeah.
And I heard she tried out for Jackass, but a guy named Poopy said he would not kick a pregnant woman. So she did not get the gig.
Have you seen the Disney Channel original movie Motocross? Mm-mm. You're illiterate in film history.
I absolutely am.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, you missed, it was Chef Jack's birthday today, and he's always working on his birthday.
Have you seen Brink?
Brink, that sounds familiar. What's that about?
Rollerblading.
No.
Poppin' suds. Man, you haven't seen Brink. Have you seen Alley Cat Strike Back?
No.
Oh, my God. Have you seen Johnny Tsunami?
What?
Oh, my God. That's crazy. But listen, this is what happens. It's like I haven't seen Three's Company.
Right. To be fair, its run on television ended 20 years before you were born, so.
Yeah. Well, you had a Vicodin addiction when Alley Cat struck back on the channels. So Kyle and Tomb Raider speak to one another in Afrikaans, and that is, I wish that I had that superpower with somebody. Like my father-in-law and his sister, they can always speak Spanish to one another amidst a chaos of family.
Wow.
And I'm like, gosh, I wish I knew what they were saying about me right now. No, I'm kidding. I'm not that narcissistic. They're talking about lots of different stuff.
Yes, of course.
But it's very, very convenient to be able to speak spy,
Yeah. I think I'm going to try and learn Spanish next year.
Oh. Always putting it off, huh?
Yeah, I was going to kick the can.
Why don't you do it tomorrow?
I got things I got to do.
You know Spanish.
Not really.
Okay, so you don't order in Spanish at Taco Bell, do you?
No.
Oh, okay. Good.
No.
My father does that, and it's really problematic. Yeah.
Can we get to Kyle and Natalia making beds with each other?
Yeah.
This is when Kyle shares all the fun aspects of having a brother and sister relationship.
Yep.
They're competitive. They have fun together. They laugh, and occasionally he backstabs her.
Yeah. That's, it's a tale as old as time. Brothers and sisters hating one another and backstabbing each other. Mm-hmm. That's how me and Ruby operate. We just cannot stand one another, and at any chance we're given, we'll send a nasty text to a superior about the other.
Well, that's because you have a brother and sister relationship.
Yes, exactly. Praying for these two. It's not healthy. Let's get to the little birthday party with Tomb Raider and Max. They are fighting amidst Hello Kitty decorations. And that's one of those environmental changes. The power of mise en scène is really on display here because, you put somebody in, I don't know, let's say a financial district bullpen, and you have a conversation, you're fighting about, like the S&P, right? Sure. But if you put them in a children's birthday party that's actually thrown for a 29-year-old man, that really changes the dynamic a little bit. It's like if All Quiet on the Western Front was scored by Herb Alpert, it would be completely different.
Totally different mood. I agree.
It would soften the horror of the Great War.
Now, Dylan, you mentioned at the top of the show in your thoughts and knots that we got some pretty subpar C-Rat histories.
Oh my God, did we?
Okay, well, we start with Tomb Raider here, a.k.a. Lara.
Yeah.
She talks about being a violent kid.
Yeah.
Because she had a difficult childhood. And that's pretty much all the details she gives. So I rate this a 4 on the C-Rat sad scale.
And is it 1 out of 100?
I was going to do 1 out of 10.
Okay, 1 out of 10. So the saddest being your father was slain before this kindergarten ballet concert.
If you want to kind of make your way up to a 6, Dad he shouldn't have been around, or
right.
When he was in the house, he was drunk, or punched walls, or he burned the house down. That will give you a solid 7.
Oh, Manchester by the Sea kind of thing.
Yeah. But this is a 4. Just not a solid showing.
Yeah. So the Scouser does great with kids. I mean, he just does. He's a fantastical man. I'm going to move on to the next thing.
Yes, we're going to make pizzas.
Toomey and Kyle. Is this the pizza thing?
Yeah. The pizzas. Well, they figure out that the pizzas will be made with the kids at 11. Maybe some stuff happens here, and then the adults will eat lunch at noon.
Okay.
But at this point, the sexual tension between Nat and Luka really heats up. And just in time for that boyfriend, AJ, to text her, he's going to Thailand with his bros to have sex with, I presume, everything.
And I mean everything. The way that AJ operates, I mean, there's a hawker. They don't have anything to do with the sexual arts, but come one, come all. I mean, even the anteaters in Thailand are not safe. You know what I mean?
No, not with this character.
Are there anteaters in Thailand?
I bet there are.
Yeah, probably.
You'd probably rent the zoo for the day if they weren't, walking around their natural habitat. He's like, hey, I need an anteater.
When you think zoo, what animal do you think?
Well, I go to the LA Zoo once a week, so I think flamingos.
Flamingos, right?
And gorillas.
Flamingos and gorillas.
And giraffes.
I was playing this game called Contextual the other day, and you write a word in, and then it tells you how many words you are off of the word that they're actually talking about. Okay. So, like, you'll say charity, and they'll be like, oh, you're 15,000 words off. And it got down, the word was panda. And it was like, if you're at a zoo, the main zoo animal is panda. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I agree with that.
Well, we don't have pandas anymore. China made us ship them all back.
There's
not a single panda in America right now.
No way.
Can you believe that bullshit?
Are you telling me that game was from China?
I think it might have been.
Because when I think zoo, I think lemurs, I think flamingos, and I think little French fries in the shape of animals. That's what I think.
They have those.
right.
They're chicken nuggets, but
Oh, really?
yeah.
Oh, you know what else I think? Those little machines that press the pennies down all flat.
My
you can get an
daughter
elephant.
makes me, what a racket that thing is. My
Yeah.
daughter makes me buy them every time. $4 for.
I know,
4
that's
pieces
the
of metal.
thing. It doesn't cost a penny. The penny is the raw material. You have to pay to process the raw material, but it should cost a penny. Anyways, we got to talk about Below Deck. Toomey and Kyle are chatting about Natalia, and he's talking shit once again on Natalia for good reason. We get a little montage of her venting a little bit, talking a little bit. And listen, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, they're brother and sister, but at 3:30 in the morning, I do not want to hear you say, I really feel like I'm starting to become a woman. It is too late for that kind of conversation. There's just nothing productive that can come from it.
And look, there's some shit talking happening here as Kyle shares this or complains about Natalia to Toomey about it. However, it's setting a pattern in which we finally get Toomey beginning to realize that Kyle is a backstabbing asshole.
Yeah. Yep. And that's good on Toomey. She's starting to see how this Cosa Nostra kind of thing is working a little bit. You know, you got to have a little bit of street smarts when you're dealing with sea rats.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Look what they're telling you. Boy, I bet they're going to be telling... It's in the book, The 48 Laws of Power.
Yeah, it's in the book, 48 Laws of Power, which is a revolting book. It is a book that teaches people how to fuck others. But it is beneficial because we do live in a late-stage capitalist hellhole, and you do have to step over the corpses of your enemies in order to reach the throne.
Well, don't forget to step out the ashes to make sure that they're fully extinguished.
Right.
Hey, you want to talk about something else that's mean? Crotch goblins.
Yeah.
After making those pies, Haley doesn't seem like she likes kids.
No, I don't think she does like kids. And she doesn't like anteaters either. And here is, once again, a Robert Frost kind of precipice that we're facing. And we could go off and continue talking about the beauty of anteaters, but I'm a little concerned that, led by me and caused by me, we've been a little all over the place tonight.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah.
I will say her two other sticking points were jeans that are too thin with the pockets so that you can't fit your cell phone in.
Well, I'm
with
agree
your
with her on
girlfriend.
that, yeah.
And also idiots that wear sunglasses indoors at night.
I like that.
I am not.
I wish I could pull that off, but I just feel like an idiot. You know, you see Wheezy courtside, and you go, "Oh man, he's wearing sunglasses." You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's fully lit up.
Yeah.
We're talking about like going to a place that maybe doesn't have that kind of lighting.
Yeah.
And you're showing up there, you can't see in 2 feet in front of your face.
Like Musso and Frank's.
Exactly.
Like, don't wear sunglasses in Musso and Frank's.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Jerk.
You can't see with no sunglasses. It's too dark.
Now, Dylan, can we talk about these pizzas for a second? Because we talked with Chef Jack about it. You thought they looked like crap. Fair enough. Maybe they didn't stick the landing as far as if they were on Iron Chef, they'd probably get low scores for plating. But I have to say this.
If I was Shat Kitgora and they brought me one of these pizzas, I would say you have brought... Not only have you failed conclusively, you have brought shame to this entire franchise.
But I pointed out in our interview with Chef Jack, which will drop later this week, and you have to hear it. It's really fun.
You have to.
Is that at least they put sauce on the goddamn pie.
Yeah.
I moved to Los Angeles. Out here in Los Angeles, we prefer our pizza to look more of what a quesadilla would look like. Cheese and bread or whatever.
Yeah.
And the pies suck out here.
Yeah.
Where's the sauce?
Where is the sauce? It's like a black-eyed peas song.
I like that.
Yeah. I mean, look, I am so ADD tonight. It's just associative nonsense coming out of me tonight. And I apologize.
Well, let me get us back on track. This is going to blow your mind, but Lara and Max are going at it again.
Tomb Raider and Max are not doing well. Cable out. These two don't really speak English all that well, and they're trying to communicate in they might as well just try Afrikaans and French, because who knows? It can't get any worse. I just got to say, I don't think they're paying enough due to the food this season. In an episode filled with mundane sea rat histories about where you get your motor or how you're kind of a little snippy, let's take that 30 seconds that we'll never get back. Let's chuck some chyrons up for some of the food. You know what I mean?
They started doing that and then they stopped doing it.
Where is with this half-assed commitment to the culinary arts? I mean, it's just nuts.
Speaking of the culinary arts, would you like to talk about lunch? A little visit to Italy.
Yeah, we've got marinated burrata, we've got arrabbiata, we've got lobster. And listen, once again, I just don't have enough to go off of here. I mean,
there's a lot of food on that table.
Yeah, there's a lot of food on the table, and lunch is the theater where you can slop down some sea bugs and some pasta and some caprese. You know what I mean?
Of course.
You know, because there's this ruse pulled on people at restaurants. You know, marinated burrata it's just caprese salad. You know, sure, it's a different kind of curd, but it'll be accompanied by something tomatoey most often, and there will be some kind of basil, be it in the form of oil or a chiffonade. It's just, we see what you're doing. You know, we see exactly what you're fucking doing.
Hey, Dill, do you think now would be a good time to go for a break?
Do an ad break?
Do an ad.
Do you want to do an ad break right now? Why don't we take a quick break and talk about this amazing sponsor? Pat, have you been feeling anxious at all lately?
Dylan, I'm glad you mentioned that. Yes, for a couple weeks now I have, but I'm feeling a lot better since I started using Microdose.
Microdose is a wonderful, wonderful company. This stuff is so great for so many things. Like, listen, I've been hitting the circuits real hard, because we've been in a lifelong or podcast long battle for me to get hot. You know what I mean? You're already hot. You're tight. You're taut. But I need to get hot. And because I'm doing these circuits where I'm listening to DaBaby and I'm doing burpees and stuff, sometimes my joints are a little hurt.
Oh, yeah.
You know what helps with that?
Microdose.
It can help with so many different things. Stress reduction, anxiety reduction, better sleep, help your soreness, listening to DaBaby doing circuits. This stuff is just, what doesn't it help?
Well, it definitely helps my sleep. As you mentioned, I got a 2-month-old and my wife and I take shifts at night. I just take a little gummy here, these small little gummies. About 10 minutes later, it kicks in. I'm able to have a wonderful full night's sleep. It's changed my life, quite honestly.
And let me tell you something else. You haven't had sex unless you've had sex on Microdose.
Oh, yeah.
Microdose is available nationwide. To learn about microdosing THC, go to microdose.com. Use promo code BADTV, all lowercase, no spaces, to get free shipping and 30% off your first order. Again, that is microdose.com. Use code BADTV to get free shipping and 30% off your first order. Links can be found in the show description. But again, that's microdose.com, promo code Bad TV. So we carry on and we carry forth and we carry on. We get to more Toomey's I Love Chaos thing.
Yeah.
Listen, it's getting, that is becoming an and kind of thing. It's just we're too many times with this is too nice. I prefer chaos, and I learned the go from my mom, who again did tell me that my father was brutally murdered right before my ballet performance. Yeah. Little Stockholm syndrome with that woman and her, huh?
Yeah,
I seem to have a lot of respect for her, though. It sounds like kind of toxic parenting, if you ask me.
Well, I don't want to judge.
Yeah, I don't want to judge anybody.
Well, Toomey tells us for the second time about that chaos thing. Meanwhile, Orby and his fellow guests, they're putting behind their crazy drunk past. I forget what charter guest said this, but as they head over the island, she says, "We will let's blow this like a popsicle stick. Let's blow this popsicle stick."
What is that?
I think it's blow this popsicle stand.
What, like a
I couldn't tell.
Kind of like an IRA kind of explosion? What do you?
No, I don't think it's a way that the kids used to say, "Let's get out of here." I think. Hey, Orby, if you're listening and your lovely wife, hit us up. Try and explain this to us.
Yeah, because it sounds like either a terrorist attack or a mimicry of sucking dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Can I do a meanwhile?
Yeah, of course.
Meanwhile, Max has left the stern with no one to stay on duty, and this causes, shocking, another dust up between the Frenchmen. And it's, I think this is when it's decided that perhaps a little positive reinforcement could help out.
You know, the only thing that I really am gleaning from this is just kudos to Luka, because Luka is so cool hand Luka with this whole thing.
Cool hand Luka. I like it. I like it.
He's just so smooth with everything. He just does not get flustered at all. He doesn't entertain the melodrama. He doesn't feed off of it. I think he's a spiritually sound young man, and I do think that he is the right person to helm this this vessel of sea rats.
I don't think I've said this quite a bit of cast members on this particular season. I think we will see him again in the future on this show.
So he kind of comes to the idea that Max needs positive reinforcement. He says, rub your balls with grease. That's like a, hey, we're both guys.
Right.
You know, hey, we're both dudes, and we both think that testicular funnies are funny, you know? So let's level with each other there.
Hey, Del, while we're doing this, do you mind if I give a little shameless plug for our Patreon again?
Oh, yeah,
right
of course.
I am going to be reviewing the show Naked Attraction. I have watched
Love
the show.
that show.
You've seen it, Dylan?
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to
So
talk
head on
about
over
it.
to patreon.com/another podcast network. I'm going to talk about it. I've never seen penises that ugly in my entire life.
It's really, really shocking. Now, listen, circumcised, uncircumcised, you know, I got no quips about that.
Speaking of anteaters.
Yeah, no, I know it's quite horrifying to see. Listen, you can have a cute little penis with it with a hood on it, but sometimes, and I didn't know that this existed until I saw Naked Attraction, but I wasn't aware that there could be these kind of like dehydrated raisinets kind of distending past the tip of the penis, and it's quite horrific. But we don't want to judge.
No. So head on over to patreon.com/another podcast.
What are we doing that on, PMZ or APS?
PMZ, but I'll probably talk about it on APS too.
Okay,
I was
cool.
horrified. I could not stop writing notes on the first episode, which, by the way, I think is amazing television.
And I love how body positive the whole thing is.
Oh, a body positive while someone critiques your fucking balls.
I know, it's amazing. I don't know how you can be body positive when you say your cock looks like it's going to cause internal bleeding.
That guy cried when he left.
She
said my cock was too big.
He had a bad attitude about that whole thing. It's like, okay, guy, you know, sometimes we got to take a loss in life. Move on. All right, so Natalia's relationship is affecting her work, and we move on to another management conference trick from Captain Sandy. Lara, a.k.a. Tomb Raider, a.k.a. Lara, will be driving the boat.
Yes.
Here, she cannot yell at Max. Here, she cannot really scream. She must keep a cool hand. I'm done. You got to get.
Oh, sure. Well, Lara reminds us once again that she was, in fact, a big fan of the book The Secret, because on her dream board, she had created an image of her being a captain with a monkey on her shoulder. Drive.
I felt so bad about cutting that social clip and putting that out and tagging Tomb Raider in what was a takedown of her sad dreams. But this week we had some dreams. You know, this is a dream, right? Mm-hmm. No, you should not dream to be a sea rat, because again, dreams are free. They can be as big as you want them to be. Though keep them down to earth, because you will be in a hamster wheel kind of existential nightmare if you can never reach, you know, like I don't know. But wanting to be a captain with a monkey on your shoulder, that's a dream.
There you go.
That's a fucking, I mean, I didn't know that I had that dream, but I do have that dream now.
Well, where was the eye patch?
What?
Well, we get another text from Natalia's honey. Mm-hmm. I forget what he says here, but I think it's one of those passive controlling texts.
Yeah, just another really cool text from Natalia's really cool boyfriend. Again, I just want somebody to dox him. You know, somebody dox this guy.
We'll find him.
His
name's AJ.
He has to have committed tax fraud, and he's definitely engaged in dealings with trafficked sex workers. So someone figure this guy's social security number out, and don't do anything irresponsible or illegal, but just, you know, we need some Robin Hoods out there, because these people are getting away with way too much.
Exactly, man.
You know,
the 1%ers.
The text was, you go out tomorrow night right? Think of me, call me then, LY babe. I mean, you should be incarcerated just for texting like that. If my dream of being a ruthless dictator were to ever come true, I would I'd be sending people away for that. LY babe, you go out tomorrow night, right? Think of me, call me then, LY babe. I mean, that is just so impersonal. And it's already such an impersonal
medium.
He
has quite the control over Natalia. I see her as a very self-empowered person, and I'm shocked by the control he has over
We'll
her.
talk about Natalia later on in the episode. I am here with her because she's slotting into one of my least favorite archetypes, the oh my gosh, you'll never believe this new detail about my toxic relationship.
Right, yeah.
Oh my God, you'll never believe how little I give a fuck about this new detail about your toxic relationship. It is so uninteresting. Leave me alone or break up with the person. I cannot be here anymore.
I've been that guy, and I've also had the friend that won't shut up about his girlfriend. I'm like, dude, she banged the entire football team behind your back. It's time to walk away.
That was just a really harsh example.
It was true, though.
Yeah, it was true for you.
Yeah. That's why I can say it. I want to talk about dinner?
Yeah. Salt baked cod, steak, caprese skewers. I just don't know what we're doing here. I mean, no chyrons, no footage of prep, really. No announcement, no menu planning. What gives? Night falls. And the gang gets ready for the next day. The pirate day filled with clues on paper that Natalia made herself. We go night-night, and we see some odd stuff from Natalia before our heads hit the pillow.
We do, but if you don't mind, I'd like to go back a few.
Yeah.
Kyle and Natalia chat, and she's complaining a bit about the lack of urgency to have the table set up prior to guests arriving. Kyle notes that Natalia did this, and I think he reports it to Toomey once again that she might have been backstabbing a little bit. And he says that it appears she's regressing. And he says, the drama girl. Kyle, pot, meat, kettle. Mm-hmm. It's almost as if you're talking about yourself, you shit talker.
Hi, Pot. My name's Kettle. You know? But can we get to this? No.
Nighttime before the guests. By the way,
here we go.
This is what a change of behavior from Orby and his charter guests. They play Yahtzee all night, and then Nat discusses Pirate Day with the crew. And later, Nat says it's a little early for bed to Luka, and asks if Luka is hearing what she's throwing down, and he says yes.
Yeah,
but I don't think he is because they don't have sex.
Which that's fine. I mean, Luka's getting frustrated with all of this kind of bizarre, kind of Hitchcockian, kind of like these advances are kind of strange. He's like, what are we going to do this or like what's going on? Like, I don't need to have sex with you, but I'm just wondering like what you're doing.
Well, that's true.
You're dressing the pillows up and you're saying sleep on this one and think of me. Like that's what's going on here. You know what I mean?
Well, I thought she was pretty much throwing it out there. I thought she was like, hey, let's have some sex right now.
Okay.
Because it reminded me of a scene from the original Ghostbusters where the demon from another dimension asks one of the Ghostbusters, are you a god?
Yeah.
And we learn you always say yes.
Sure.
So when a horny Aussie who has a contract with Playboy wants to have sex with you, you say yes.
What's that thing? Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
You know, I forgot that theme the other day.
You know that
I don't know what happened to my brain, but I couldn't
Huey Lewis
pick
in
it
the
out.
News sued the bejeebus out of Ray Parker Jr. and the producers of that film for stealing I Want a New Drug from them. It's the exact same riff.
Yeah.
However, they didn't steal it from that. They stole it from a 60s song.
Yeah.
It sounds exactly like it.
Listen, theft is the fairest form of flattery. So next
morning,
Danger Aaron wants an omelet with black olives. I don't know how I feel about that. I want to say it's disgusting, but I don't know. I feel like it could be.
I've had it. It's good.
Yeah, it sounds like it's like a niçoise kind of fun thing.
It was
going on.
it was called a Greek omelet, and there was some What kind of cheese would they put?
That's feta.
Feta. It was feta and olives in it. Yeah.
And it was good.
Very good.
Sounds like a salt
and diced
bomb.
tomatoes. It was a salt bomb. My face looked like a basketball.
Anne calls, completely forgot that she was on the
I
show
completely forgot.
once again. And then we get to children shit. And listen, we're throwing up chyrons for the clues. Why can't we throw up chyrons for the pasta? You know what I mean? It's are ye matey? You'll find this treasure once you untie Sandy by the jacuzzi. You know, it's we get it. It's like you're trying to one last time jack the tip up a little bit. But again, I'll just say it again and again. Unless the children have a mean streak to them, don't let them aboard this vessel.
I agree with you. I want at least one of them trying to light things on fire when no one's looking.
100%. So we get a tight squeeze that is squeezed into.
Great job, Captain Sandy.
If you see a tight squeeze and you haven't seen a tight squeeze in the preview for the season, because God, if there was a tight squeeze that was in the preview for that season, it would mean that there was disaster.
Right.
But if we don't see it, then you know that nothing could possibly go wrong here. The only thing that's going to come of this is Sandy going, great job, everybody.
Great job. It's great teamwork.
Luka and Nat rub each other's asses, and then we get to the tip meeting, Pat.
Oh, wow. $28,000.
Yeah.
That's $2,300 each.
Hell yeah.
And we learn Anne will be returning who?
Jess heads back to party, and we head out. We get some cool talk in the vans about Kyle milking people's prostates, I think.
Yes.
That was cool. We've talked about it many times before. I think it's a damn shame that men don't have their buttons pushed more. Anything? You want to add anything to that, Pat? Do you not want your button pushed?
No.
All right, fine. We hit the club.
Yeah, this is weird. We forego dinner and go straight to that club.
Yeah.
I kind of appreciated it.
Oh, sure. Who needs the duck l'orange when you can slam down vodka?
Exactly. Or tequila. And way to go, Chef Jack, landing a nice girl from England.
Way to go, Jack. The Scouser gets a little action, yeah. And then we get to this stupid shit with Natalia and Luka and her international criminal of a boyfriend. Natalia, pick it up, put it down, whatever you do it, and then let's stop talking about it.
I feel for her because he does have some kind of Christian Grey control over her, but he's not Christian Grey. He's a guy who pays to come on prostitutes' hair.
Yeah, it's
way less charming.
It's way less charming. There's barely any charm to that. You know what I mean? But alas, Luka and Natalia, being the two hotties on the boat, cannot help themselves. They have to lash at one another's skin, and while they're doing it above Kyle's head, Kyle, go sleep in another room. AJ calls. I like Luka. He's like, pick it up.
I thought that was a dumb move.
Pick it up. Pick it up, man.
I thought that was really immature.
Yeah, so immature.
Bad move on you, Luka.
Yeah, Luka, come on, man.
And she's entertaining picking it up.
Yeah.
What are you doing right now? Be honest.
Well, next week we will see Captain Sandy sustain a possibly career-ending injury. Who knows? But until then, join us on Patreon, join us on YouTube, jump the iTunes range of usually 5 stars, kind words. Honestly, from the bottom of our hearts, the show is growing kind of crazy right now.
It's pretty cool.
And we love all of you for listening. Tell a friend, tell a family member, tell a coworker, tell a homeless person, whatever you can do to help spread the show. We would appreciate it immensely. I'm Dylan saying goodbye. Pat, say goodbye.
Later, dudes.